Can you imagine? I know we already mentioned this with the reindeer, but can you imagine just be like wandering around and then you see like a bear eat some roots and then the bear's like, "Bah!" And you're like, that looks good. Let's taste that and see what happens to me.
Wow, that is delicious. Finally, some good f***ing food.
Today's video is brought to you by Holzkern, and I'll tell you more about them a little later.
Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Brain Blaze. As always, I'm your host Simon. Welcome. One's here, one of my writers, in this case Kevin, writes me a script. Cocaine Bear and other famous drug-using animals. I love like with this, like do you remember the Cocaine Bear movie? It must be like from 6 months ago now, and obviously I saw that and I was like, let's make a video about that. And the production process is so slow, and I obviously didn't mark this like as a rush or something. And now, I mean, I'm recording this on the 23rd of May, and we are gonna be really it's gonna be a while, guys. I don't know when this is coming out, but it's just wildly outdated already. It's gonna be even more outdated by the time you see it. Anyway, yeah, let's stop rambling and let's jump in. Animals have long been the subject of drug testing for various reasons. A lot of the time this is to test the safety and efficacy of medications, but sometimes it seems to just be for the hell of it. What do you do? Oh, I work in a lab, we do animal testing. Oh, what do you test? Nothing. Nothing. We're just picking up animals. Just for the hell of it. Just like, what's up? Why does that dog have one missing leg? I just wanted to see what that was like. Psychos. You've probably seen pictures from NASA researchers who gave spiders a bunch of different psychotropic drugs like LSD, marijuana, amphetamines to see what kind of effect it had on the spider webs. Oh yeah, I have seen that. And they're not very good. It's like one of those things like people are always like, oh yeah, on amphetamines I work so hard. On LSD I see like other dimensions. And then it's like they put spiders on it and they just make shitty webs. And it's like, you're not working hard, you're just doing shittier work. And you're not seeing into another dimension. Your brain's just like up, you know. And granted, I haven't. What's that drug that Joe Rogan goes on about? And he's always like, yeah, I didn't believe in other dimensions until I took like fucking ketamine or some shit like that. And it's like, well, it's not real. I've never done it. And I really like would be concerned about myself if I did it. And I was like, nope, there are other dimensions. It's like, no, logically, your brain is getting f***ed up by chemicals. Come on, you should know this.
That's it, mister. You just lost your brain privileges.
So today I want to talk to you about something special. I want to talk about Holzkern, the leading brand for wooden watches and natural jewelry in Europe. They're celebrating their 7th birthday this year. And speaking of celebrations, Father's Day is coming up. And if you're like me, you're probably on the lookout for a unique, special gift for the dad in your life. Well, Holzkern's absolutely got you covered. What I love about their products, they got this great like clasp thing that just flips off like that, which is very nice. What I love about their products is they're not just accessories, they're reminders to connect with nature. You can see the wood that makes up the bracelet there. They're also made with other natural materials beside wood, stone, also mother of pearl, and are a perfect gift to give to a loved one. They're something that won't be forgotten. It's a celebration of your unique connection. And this watch is a great conversation starter. People love the unique design, the fact that it's made of wood. I like how it looks, love how it feels on my wrist, and it's a personal piece of nature. And it reminds me to appreciate the value of uniqueness, which is nice. And check this out, Holzkern have recently added sunglasses to their range, which is pretty great. Look, these products are perfect for anyone who loves nature and wants to add a unique bit of style to their look. And the good news is, you can get them for less right now. Use the code BLAZE15 at checkout to get an exclusive discount on your order. And don't forget to visit the link in the description below, browse their amazing selection of products, and when you're ready to check out, use that code BLAZE15. Thank you Holzkern for sponsoring today's video, creating such amazing products. Get your own today. And now back to today's video.
The pictures you would have likely seen are most likely the ones from 1995, but this research dates all the way back to the 1940s. Scientists doing the Lord's work. Why were NASA scientists getting spiders high, you ask? I'm not really sure, and I don't think NASA's 100% sure either. They're literally the people in the, like, what do we do? Just f***ing with animals, just for no reason. Just giving them drugs, chopping off their legs. As far as I can tell, it all began because one scientist didn't like having to stay up all night until the spiders became active, so he wanted to see if you could get them to spin webs at different times during the day. Why anybody thought that LSD or sleeping pills would be a good way to improve productivity is a mystery to me, but I'm not a rocket scientist. It's like, Kevin, maybe you should try it. Just, one morning be like, I'm going to write like 3 Brain Blaze scripts today, Simon. And I'm like, okay, Kevin, don't forget to take your LSD. How'd it go, Kevin? How many scripts you have? 0 scripts. I was on fucking LSD. Jesus, what did you expect? I thought I was a tiger for most of the afternoon.
Tigertron, maximize!
However, not all animals that use drugs are being forced to do so by their evil human overlords. Sometimes animals get a little curious and decide to take drugs they find of their own accord, and there are even some species of animals that are particularly known for their love of mind-altering chemicals. Santa's reindeer are tripping balls. Even before humans began experiments on animals, in the dark old days before we tested things on animals, we just had to test them on children. There was still a lot we could learn from them. What? Oh, there's still a lot we could learn from animals. Okay, by observing the behavior of animals after ingesting different types of plants or fungi, we can get an idea of what those things might do to our bodies. It's like, what's this? We found almonds. They smell delicious, but they could be poisonous because original almonds contain cyanide, right? Let's feed them to these cats and see what happens. All the cats are dead. Okay, don't eat the delicious smelling almonds.
And a couple of almonds, chew them really well.
It was some pretty solid sciencing from early humans, but it wasn't 100% effective. This brings us to people probably didn't eat chocolate for ages because they kept killing their dogs or their wolves or whatever the they had in the past. That brings us to the reindeer that make their home in the desolate frozen wasteland that is Siberia. Humans noticed that these reindeers would root around and fight over the fly agaric mushrooms. These mushrooms are characterized by their red caps covered in white specks, and their intense hallucinogenic effects left the reindeer flying high enough to carry Santa's sleigh. Upon seeing how the reindeer reacted to the mushrooms, those people that were unfortunate enough to live in Siberia decided to eat the mushrooms as well to enjoy the same high. Wait, aren't these mushrooms famously... I can't remember. It's there's the mushrooms that are red and then they got the white dots on them. Aren't they famously poisonous? But like I said, just copying what we saw animals eat 100% wasn't effective. The fly agaric is harmless to reindeer, but it is very closely related to other mushrooms with names like Death Cap and Destroying Angel, which should give you an idea of how toxic these are to humans. They sound like metal bands. Wasn't it? It's Destroying Angels this Saturday at the Forum. Wild Out of the Forum was the name of a venue near where I grew up, and bands would play there. It was a bit shit. I wonder if it's still around. Where was it? I can't remember where it was. It was in Kent. I can't remember the name of the town or which town it was in. Well, no one cares. This is extreme. This is like when you listen to a podcast with American YouTubers and they're always like, oh, the traffic on the 404 was terrible. So I'm like, what the f*** are you talking about? It's like you take the 404, 101. It's like, okay. No one cares. Your audience don't just live in Los Angeles. While I'd like to think that the people were too high to even realize that they were dying, I'm guessing that feeling your body die from poison while hallucinating from shrooms probably results in one of the most miserable experiences possible. I don't know, if my body was dying from mushrooms, right, and they would would you rather this agonizing death, or would you be rather thinking you're a tiger for most of the afternoon or something like that? I'd be like, fucking tiger me up, bitch! Luckily, they realized there was a better way. These reindeer absolutely love tripping, and they weren't going to let the fact that there weren't enough mushrooms to go around stand in their way. Reindeer that didn't like to eat the mushrooms themselves would just go around lapping up the urine of other reindeer that were already high. Okay. Jesus Christ. Talk about, as though people smoke and it's like they worry about secondhand smoke. This is like the piss-drinking reindeer equivalent of that. Not wanting to be left out, the humans decided to give reindeer urine a try, and it was fantastic. Not only did the reindeer's bodies filter out the toxins that were harmful to humans, but the resulting urine produced much more potent hallucinations than the mushrooms did on their own. Oh my god, I just assumed it was going to be like a watered-down version, but somehow the reindeer make it more powerful. It's magic. Both reindeers and humans alike would get higher than ever off the urine of those that had ingested the mushrooms raw. Wait, what happens if you then drink the urine of a reindeer that drank the urine? How far can this go? And then you do it 10 down and then you're just like, ah! I'm a time-traveling tiger! That kind of shit, I mean, it can't work like that, right? Because you can't just increase the potency to infinity by feeding reindeers piss. This just leaves the obvious question of why. Why what? I already forgot. Oh, drinking the piss? Or what? Reindeer are on top of the food chain in Siberia and are constantly hallucinating. Why are they getting high? Because they like it, Kevin. They're just like, yeah, bro. It's like, why do humans get high? We don't need it. We're not it's not like, oh yeah, no, I can't work unless I'm on LSD. I can't work unless I think I'm a tiger. Just doesn't work. I'm a tiger right now. And constantly hallucinating seems like a pretty terrible way to stay alert and safe from the packs of wolves that hunted them. The answer is actually really simple. Siberia fucking sucks. Nobody wants to live in Siberia, not even the animals. Researchers found that the reindeer seek out these mushrooms in winter because the cold desolation of a Siberian winter is so mind-numbingly boring that the reindeer simply refuse to endure their monotonous existence while sober. And who can blame them? There are actually some that speculate these mushrooms are the true origin of Santa Claus. They're red and white, just like his iconic outfit, and they cause the reindeer to fly, figuratively speaking. Siberia also may well be the North Pole, so there are certainly some parallels that you can draw. This doesn't know. Isn't Santa red because of Coca-Cola? He used to be green or something, didn't he? The speculation is all total and complete nonsense. Big brain, I thought so. And is in no way true, but it's far from the craziest theory you've talked about on this channel. Mandrills use performance-enhancing drug. What the fuck is a mandrill? I've heard of it, but honestly, if you told me it was some sort of goat creature or a monkey, I'd be like, yeah, equal probabilities. It's probably like a beetle or something, isn't it? Jesus. In the Congolian, is that how you say, like, it's in Congo? Okay. Rainforest of Central Africa grows the Tabernanthe iboga, or just the iboga for short. The plant bears little orange fruits that look kind of like chili peppers, and it's long since been used by Africans for medical and religious purposes. According to legend, humans first began using the plant after seeing boars dig up the roots and eat them, only to be whipped into a frenzy from the drug's psychedelic effects. Can you imagine? I know we already mentioned this with the reindeer, but can you imagine just be like wandering around and then you see like a bear eat some roots and then the bear's like, "Bah!" And you're like, that looks good. Let's taste that and see what happens to me.
Wow, that is delicious. Finally, some good fucking food.
After watching the boars flee from any potential attempt to do battle with their hallucinated predators, the African people decided that they should try the plant too. After all, who wouldn't want to eat something that clearly made its users act like they were absolutely terrified? Exactly. It's like, that doesn't seem fun at all. Though the plant's fruits do have some psychedelic effects as well, the boars understood that the real good was all in the roots. The main active ingredient, and the one that produces the hallucinogenic effects, is called ibogaine. While it isn't currently approved for any medical uses in most of the world, what a f***ing surprise, it just makes you terrified. It's like, what is the medical use of that drug? What's it do? It induces terror. Oh, that's going to be great for nothing. There are medical facilities in Mexico and Brazil that use ibogaine as a treatment for drug addiction. Holy shit, no. It's like, we're going to get you off heroin. How? We're going to give you this drug that makes you terrified. It's like, of what? Everything. That, I'm never... Stay out of rehab. Where? Mexico and Brazil. Fuck those places. Fuck you, Brazil. Fuck you, Mexico. Sorry, I don't mean that. I love you guys. A lot of experts believe that it is an effective treatment for opioid addiction, but it also is toxic to humans in large doses, so there's not enough research on the matter for anything conclusive. But it's not just boars and humans eating iboga root. From porcupines to gorillas, it seems any animal that can get its filthy paws on these roots would gladly consume them for recreational purposes. Any animal except for one, the mandrill. Mandrills are a type of primate. Well, it's not the goat thing, is it? It's the monkey. Native to Central Africa, and they're often confused with baboons or goats. They can easily be identified by beetles by the bright red and blue skin on their faces and butts. Oh, I know these little f***s. I know what these guys are. They're weird little asses. Why evolution decided that these monkeys would benefit from having a bright blue hairless butt is anybody's guess. It's like, Jesus God, what the fuck, man? What were you? Did you do ibogaine that day? Did you eat that reindeer root?
Exactly.
But it certainly makes them unmistakable mandrills, except for Simon, who will mistake them for goats. Mandrills are a very social species. They can be several hundred of them in a horde, and they're extremely hierarchical in their society, where the dominant males at the top of the society have a harem of females to breed with. In this sort of society, you can't stay on top by f***ing around, so these sounds like exactly what they're doing, Kevin. Bada-bum-bum! So these monkeys don't have time to waste consuming iboga root just for the hell of it, like the other animals. When mandrills consume iboga, it's because they mean business. They use the roots as a performance-enhancing drug, as the act is always premeditated when a male mandrill is preparing to challenge another male, either for mating rights or to move up in the social hierarchy. They'll dig up and consume the iboga roots, and then they wait. The effects of they wait for what? Just for their fear to kick in? The effects of the drugs are felt almost immediately and last for 4 to 6 hours. That's really long. I don't like drugs that last a really long time because then, like, I've never done like these long-lasting hallucinogenic drugs like LSD and stuff because I'll be like, I did do hallucinogenics once and it was not a pleasant experience. So I'm like, I'm just like, no, what if I don't like it? I don't want to spend the whole day being like, why did I do this? Jesus, allegedly.
What have I done? What have I done?
But the monkeys don't just take a few bites before running around half-cocked. They sit around quietly hallucinating for about 2 hours or so until their high begins to peak. Then and only then will they begin combat. That is almost assuredly an effective tactic. The most obvious reason is that the Mandrills keep doing this, and if they didn't work, they'd probably stop. But in addition to the hallucinogenic effects, Iboga is also a pain reliever, which would help them continue fighting for longer. This sounds fucking terrible. It's like it makes you hallucinate, absolutely terrified, and not feel pain. And then you're going to go and get in a fight. That just sounds like you're going to die. Use of this drug gives a notable advantage to the challenger, as generally they will be the only one to have consumed the Iboga root. After all, it's not like the monkeys have formal duels at high noon or something. But still, winning a fight this way has got to be a really strange experience for the Mandrills. One male decides it's going to attack another male, so first it gets as high as fuck. 6 hours later, it finally sobers up, only to discover itself a bit bloodied and in bed with a dozen female mandrills. Oh my god, it does sound pretty intense, doesn't it? A flock of sheep get the munchies. Recreational marijuana use is becoming more widely accepted around the world, but it's still not legal in Wales. Okay, brilliant. Thanks for that little factoid. The problem with keeping weed illegal, other than ruining everyone's good time, is that it means people who grow and process the plants have to do everything in secrecy. There's a weird law here in Czech. You can grow... Like, weed it's decriminalized. Like, people will smoke weed on the street and stuff. It's technically illegal, but no one cares. There's no shops or anything. You can't just go into a shop and buy it, like in Amsterdam or something. But it's easily available. And you can grow your own weed. I think you can have, like, 2 plants at home for personal consumption that you can use. And you can buy, like, the seeds and the hydroponic equipment and grow your own, like, beautiful weed plant at home and then harvest it and have tons of weed and stuff. But it's still illegal. I think they're about to make it legal. They're about to, I really hope they just do it so you have to live here or like be a citizen or a resident rather than a tourist, because otherwise it's going to turn into like Amsterdam. Like, central Prague's already enough of a mess with tourists. We don't need them all to be high as well. Please don't do that, government, please. Like, make it legal. I'm all for that. But please make it so it's only for people who like live here rather than just drunk tourists who are now also going to get high and come here just to get high. Please, government, please. Please don't do this. Don't ruin the city even more. Instead of just using the leftovers for compost or something, or disposing of it through ordinary channels, manufacturers have to dump everything illegally. And that's what happens in 2016 when a cannabis factory dumped their unwanted plant remains on the side of a road in an unpronounceable town in Wales, in an area where the sheep were known to graze. The sheep, unsurprisingly, began consuming the plants and they got really high. Some locals described the sheep as terrorizing a quiet village and going on a psychotic rampage, but this is a gross exaggeration of what was happening. In reality, the sheep got the munchies and were just wandering around aimlessly. They got into people's gardens, eating everything in sight. They disrupted traffic by being largely unaware of their surroundings, and at least one got into somebody's house and made a mess. Yeah, it's like the munchies is something that some people get it, some people don't. I get this outrageously. I'll always be like, oh my god, I just had dinner, but I could absolutely consume an entire giant bag of crisps right now. I absolutely could. And it's just insatiable. It's crazy.
What I'm saying is, I'm hungry.
But not all of the sheep made such a public nuisance. Some of them were reported as simply lying down, staring off into space and listening to Pink Floyd. Music you can only appreciate if your mind is altered. Local authorities were quick to remove the waste from the cannabis factory in order to prevent repeated attacks and mayhem from flocks of uncontrollable psychotic sheep. Cocaine Bear. Ever since the movie Cocaine Bear was announced, this has been one of the most requested topics by Brain Blaze viewers. I can't even pronounce the name of my own channel.
I don't know.
What many of you may have not realized is that while the movie depicts a bear getting hopped up on coke and going on a murderous rampage, the true story of the Ursine? Ursine? I don't know this word, Kevin. This is a big brain word. Ursine. Oh, is it a type of bear like Ursine? It could be like, like a genus genus, species, something like that, some biological word. Pablo Escobar is much sadder. The story begins with Andrew Carter Thornton II. He sounds like the poshest dude ever. Was it Andrew Carter Thornton II? A military paratrooper and Purple Heart recipient and police officer. After his military career, Thornton joined the Lexington, Kentucky police force. It only took a couple of years before he was promoted to the narcotics division, where he would remain until 1977. While working as a narcotics officer, Thornton was also studying law, and in 1977 he began practicing as an attorney. So we have a guy who knows the law, knows how the police force, and more specifically the narcotics squad works, and obviously knows how much money there is to be made in illegal trafficking. This is like some sort of Breaking Bad, right? This guy's going to break bad. He understood the opportunities that were available, and even more importantly, he thought that he understood how to get away with it. Thornton began smuggling both drugs and weapons, but by 1981, he was already finding himself indicted in connection with the theft of weapons for a US Navy base. Don't steal weapons from the US Navy. What are you doing? They're going to mine. And they're powerful. They've got big ships. And what are their lawyers called? There's that TV show about Navy lawyers, right? Is it JAG? Is that the TV show JAG? J-A-G? I don't know. I can't figure it out. Somehow he avoided charges for that, but he was okay. Maybe it's okay to steal guns from the US Navy. It's not. Don't do that. Somehow he avoided charges for that, but he was charged for conspiracy to import and distribute a controlled substance for an unrelated drug run that he'd been the pilot for. He was also a pilot, okay. But this was 1980s America, where our legal system made even less sense than it does today, so Thornton was only charged with a misdemeanor. He was smuggling drugs. He was sentenced to 6 months in jail and had his law license suspended.
To live life, you need problems.
That's so stupid!
Wait, he was doing some, American-made. What's up? Did that movie have a different name in America? It's the one with Tom Cruise where he plays the drug smuggling pilot. It's really good. American made? Made in America? Something like this. With his other source of income gone and having faced no major repercussions despite some pretty severe allegations, there was no chance that Thornton was going to give up smuggling. He continued his illegal activities until September the 11th, 1985, when one of his drug runs went horribly awry. Thornton was piloting his plane as usual, carrying hundreds of pounds of cocaine on board. Suddenly he realized his plane was beginning to malfunction. He quickly tossed 3 duffel bags full of cocaine out of his plane into the woods and began preparing to parachute to safety. Oh my god, he's abandoning his plane. In the news recently, there was this YouTuber who's in a plane and he just parachutes out the plane and lets the plane crash. It's like, bro, that's not allowed. And he films it all and he's like, no, it's malfunctioning. And everyone was like, bro, you're wearing a parachute. You knew what was going to happen. All of this. And now he's facing it's a long time in prison for well, obviously he jumped out of a plane, didn't he?
What an idiot!
Then he strapped 75 pounds of cocaine to his body, threw on his bulletproof vest, grabbed a couple of pistols and some night vision goggles, put on his parachute, and skydived to safety. At least that was his plan. His military career made him an expert skydiver, so it should have been a solid plan, but his chute didn't open. Oh, bro. Don't you ever reserve chute? His body was found in a family's driveway in Knoxville, Tennessee, which is honestly the last thing I'd want to deal with after coming home from a long day's work. Oh my god, can you imagine just getting home? It's like, how the did this body get? Oh no! Oh no!
Oh my god, a dead body!
Then again, if I found the body before the cops were alerted to it, I don't think they'd have any way to know whether Thornton had strapped 75 pounds of cocaine to his body or only 65 pounds or just no pounds. He had no cocaine. What are you talking about? That just leaves the duffel bags, which landed in Chattahoochee. Okay. National Forest in Georgia, home of Cokie the bear. He was a 175-pound black bear that was just minding his own business looking for some food. The sweet scent of all of that cocaine caught the bear's attention, and he tracked down the source of the scent to one of the duffel bags that had been jettisoned from Thornton's plane. The bear ripped open the duffel bag and tasted the coke. Either he loved the taste or he loved how it made him feel, because Pablo began chomping down entire mouthfuls of cocaine that there was no tomorrow. Uh-oh. Adult black bears can easily get up to 400 pounds or more, with the largest ones weighing over 1,000 pounds, but at 175 pounds, this bear basically weighed the same as a human. Since you've hopefully never seen a person eat cocaine by the pound, it probably should be obvious how this story ended. There was no murderous rampage, just a poor bear gorging himself on cocaine until it died about 45 minutes later. Can you imagine if that was what Cocaine Bear was? It's just this story, very short, 20 minutes. He just dies. When the bear was autopsied, his stomach was described as being packed to the brim with cocaine, although only 3 to 4 grams had actually been absorbed into its system. Pablo Escobar was stuffed and traded among private owners for over 25 years before finally finding a permanent home in Lexington, Kentucky at the Kentucky Fun Mall, where he is on display to the public. Like I said, the real story of Cocaine Bear is more sad than the movie would have led people to believe. In honor of the tragic death of this innocent animal, we should all now never forget September the 11th. Oh, Kevin, you're American, so it's too soon, Kevin. Thanks for watching. Probably results in one of the most miserable experiences possible.